Okay, so Allison, while you were away, Blake and I discussed some things he could do for himself. And so now that Allison's back, we're going to recap those. So, Blake, you want to discuss those?
I like to exercise and fish.
Okay. So how often would you say you do those things?
Exercising probably 3 days a week. Fishing, it's been a while.
How long?
Probably a couple of years.
Okay.
Do you find that you can't make time, or you don't have time for it because things get in the way, or you just don't make time for them? Because I feel like I don't make time to do things for myself because I feel bad.
I think it's a little both. I traveled last year, so I didn't really get a whole lot of time to do anything much, personally. But now that I'm home, like I said, try to exercise 3 or 4 days a week, and I'm looking forward to taking my son and possibly wife, if she's lucky, out to fish this year a couple times, quite a few times.
So a couple of points that both of y'all stated as I was listening. Travel, what did that entail for you?
Leaving Sundays anywhere from about 10 to 1 and being gone and coming back late Thursday night, usually early Friday mornings around 5 o'clock in the morning.
Were there some things that you done while you were away that was able to refill you back to a place to get you through the day?
Well, that's where I started exercising.
Okay.
A couple of guys, they were kind of gym rats. Went just to make a day, then got to enjoy it, and then picked up playing golf. That's pretty fun. I didn't expect that, but I like it pretty well.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried to incorporate that now that you're back home and everything too?
Not quite yet, but it's
Okay.
coming.
Well, good.
Golf seems relaxing.
It's very frustrating,
Is it?
but if you actually try, it's very fun.
Quite honestly, I'd probably just be the person riding around on the golf cart.
Yeah.
I'll be the caddy driver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about you, Miss Allison? So, something you said that piqued my interest was that you feel bad. What makes you feel bad about doing the things that you enjoy each day?
Because I always feel like if I do something that's just for me, I'm taking time away from my daughter or my husband or my work or the house. And there's always something that could be done. So I feel like when I'm doing something for me, I'm taking time away from that I could devote for that. And I have to stop and think and remember that I can't pour from an empty cup. And if there's nothing, if I don't have left to give, I can't take care of all those things. It's still a struggle. I don't do near enough taking care of me.
So something you want to try to work on?
No, for sure. Especially my profession. It's mentally exhausting. I don't have a physically labor-intensive job.
Yeah.
But mentally it's exhausting, especially right now in the times that we are.
I'm sure.
Helping put out everybody else's fires doesn't leave a lot of time for putting out my own fires.
I think going back to your definition of self-care. So you can't put out those fires until you put out your own fires, right? Okay. So, as we discuss things we can both do, and we discussed your view of the definition of self-care, and Wade, you had stated that you weren't sure what the definition of self-care, but it truly is taking care of yourself. Any activity, anything that improves your own health. So, I have a quick questionnaire that we're going to do that's going to kind of make you think about, because I always thought I done a decent amount of self-care until I really was forced to think about it. And so we're going to do that. We're going to take just about 5-6 minutes to fill this out, to see kind of where we stand. Is everyone finished up? Okay. So while you're filling this out, were there things on this list that you would think about that were self-care things in the different sections?
That we already thought that were self-care?
No, that you didn't think were
Oh, that
self-care.
we didn't think. One of my, do something in which you're not an expert or in charge of. I never thought about that, and after I read that, I was like, that's a big deal. I spend 40 hours of my week being in charge of 9 people, and having to be their expert, and having several clinics look at me as the expert of things, and being that person they go to, and that's exhausting. And I never thought of doing something that someone else was teaching me as self-care, but the more I think about it, the more that would be so relaxing, is to not have to answer questions and think about things.
Because it kind of releases that elephant off your shoulders, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Wade? Is there something on here that you wouldn't have thought that was self-care in any of the sections?
That same one came up to me. One, I wasn't 100% sure what you was talking about, so I put a 3. But it's oftentimes in work, sometimes there's stuff that comes up that I don't necessarily know how to do. I'm never in charge because I'm not the boss. But it usually doesn't take long, understand how stuff's supposed to be done and to get it done.
So is that something that y'all both enjoy doing, is learning new things?
Yeah.
That's something I would enjoy. It's something I don't take the
You
time
don't
to
take the time to
do.
do.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay. Do you take the time to learn new things at work?
There's not a whole lot left to learn, but the occasional thing comes up.
Oh yeah, I learn new things all day.
I'm sure, because everything's ever changing.
Yeah. But I think it would be good to learn things that like I sit here and look at my list, and most of mine are 3s and 4s until I get to the work section, and then most of them are 5s and 4s. That says a lot.
Yes.
So.
Okay. So we're going to go through each section, and what's the one thing you do the most of in each section. So we're going to start with physical care. What's the one thing that both of y'all do the most?
Eat.
Okay.
Eat and try to eat healthy foods.
So eating healthy foods is good. Do you eat healthy foods, or do you just eat?
A little of both.
Okay.
Combination of the both.
But you work outside though, so you need high caloric foods though to keep you going throughout the day.
Yeah.
That's hard to do with healthy food.
I take a lot of calories and carbs
Yeah.
throughout the day. I eat a lot.
Is that the time that you eat the most, is when you're at work?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So what about in that psychological self-care?
Read that's unrelated to work. That is something I do make time for.
Okay. So that's one of your primary
Mm-hmm.
self-care activities.
Yeah.
What about you, Wade?
Mine was to do something in which you are not an expert or in charge of. The most I had in that one was a 3.
Okay. And what about in the emotional care section?
Mine was allow quality time with others whose company you enjoy, which is mainly my family. I get along with most of the people I work with, so that's kind of in there too, in my opinion. But usually when I get home, it's family time, so I got a 4 on that one.
Me too.
So a 4. So there's room for growth in that area still, right?
I'd say so.
I think there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
And what about with spiritual self-care?
I only had one that was remotely close. Well, 2, spending time in nature. I'm outside a lot, but then contributing to causes in which you believe, and that again goes back to work. I do a lot of work with nonprofits, and a lot of work with the homeless population, and I'm working with a lot of agencies through that.
But even though that's work, that's still something that
Yes,
brings you joy.
I do enjoy it.
Good. Okay. And what about you in spiritual self-care?
I had 3 in the 5s. Spending time in nature. I work outside for one, so most of my day spent outside anyway. And then hiking, fishing, hunting. That's all stuff that I and my family both participate in and enjoy. Be aware of non-material aspects of life. I've learned in the last few years that it's just a bunch of crap. The sooner you can realize that you don't have to have the nicest, newest thing, the better off you're going to be. Because a lot of times it's just a waste of money.
That's sometimes hard to grasp onto.
It is, but once you, I don't know, I think it's a level of maturity you have to reach. Once you realize that stuff is pointless, it's that you really, I mean, you just get it, I think. Then meditate and pray. I pray a whole lot. So.
Okay. And what about in the workplace and professional self-care?
I've got a 5 on engage with coworkers, because if you don't engage with your coworkers where I work, then you're just going to be a long, boring day. And so we always try to cut up and have a good time.
That's kind of the same for any place, right?
I would assume
if you
so.
work with people. Well, I know a lot of people may work by themselves, but if you work in a clinic, so if you went all day and you didn't speak to anybody, that'd be a rather.
Yeah, I have several clinics that I could work in, and I choose to work in one that I get along with the most people at, so that says a lot as human beings.
Yeah. So what would you say is your strongest point in the workplace or professional self-care?
Maintain regular supervision or consultation. And I was made to start doing it towards my licensure, but I think it's super important to continue it, having that outside look and that outside thoughts on things. And honestly, every therapist needs a therapist. I think that's super important to keep yourself in check and to keep your boundaries and minds and your limits, where they need to be. So that's one of my big ones. It's something that I enjoy.
Good. So kind of the same thing. We're just gonna flip to the other end of this why I'm here. Out of each category, what's one area you feel like you need to grow in the most? Because of course we can always grow in probably every area. We'll start back with physical self-care.
Getting enough sleep.
Well, you mentioned having a daughter.
Yeah.
Is she young?
She's 15 months. But she's sleeping through the night and has been for a long time. That's just after I get her down, that's when I'm able to do everything. So I still don't get in the bed at a decent hour, and then she, gets up at 5:30.
Ooh.
So.
Well, she's an early riser.
She is. Luckily, she goes back to sleep.
That's good.
But I don't. So.
Is that kind of the usually time you get her up to go to the babysitter and stuff for the week?
Well, she'll get up, she'll go back to sleep, and then I'll have a chance to get ready for the morning, get lunches made, things like that, and then we usually leave, 7 o'clock. So it gives me an hour or so to get myself ready. But, if I don't go to bed till 12 o'clock because I'm cleaning the house or whatever, and she gets up at 5:30.
You're still not getting that adequate amount of time. Mm-hmm. What about you, Wade?
Mine all had to do with medical care and taking off when sick. Those were all ones because I don't get sick time off at work, and I usually don't go to the doctor till it's usually too late anyway. So.
Okay. Do you go for routine?
Never.
Is that something you feel like you want to grow at, or just that you need to grow at?
I would say I probably need to do it, but it hasn't been a desire of mine, no.
Okay. Fair enough. And what about the psychological self-care section?
Improve the ability to say no.
That's a good one.
It's a big thing with me.
Mine is writing a journal, because I think that's goofy.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the way I was raised or what, but I think that's nonsense.
And,
That's something you do when you're a kid, not as an adult.
and different coping skills work for different people, right? So what about the emotional self-care section?
I didn't have any, surprisingly didn't have any twos in this section. I don't know what my biggest thing I would want to work on here would be.
Okay. What about you,
I
Wade?
don't know necessarily if wanting to work on, but my lowest one was which was read favorite book or review favorite movies. I don't read anything. Or
Are you a
the
movie
Bible
watcher?
sometimes. I watch news, but
So is there a movie that may refill your cup, so to speak, if you watch it? Is there one that you watch multiple times?
there's a couple dozen movies I can watch
Okay.
multiple times.
So movies. Well, that would fall into that section then.
Yeah.
So maybe,
I guess I could watch more movies.
yeah. Would you stay up late to not watch those movies?
Sometimes no.
Okay. What about spiritual self-care? What's something we feel like we could grow in that section?
Praying.
Praying.
I don't do that enough.
I've got contribute to causes in which you believe.